Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you all about that feeling of being stuck and something, I guess it's just really something that can be so frustrating because a lot of the time we don't know what the solution is, and I have definitely felt like this in the past, and these are a few of the tips that I have found have helped me to feel unstuck. There are a couple of reasons why you do feel stuck, and I will just cover them quickly, and I might do another video that goes a little bit more in depth on this. But some of the reasons why you might feel stuck is constant worrying, unproductive habits, constant disappointment. So maybe you're doing something that is in line with what your goals are, but you keep getting knocked back all the time. Limited hope for the future, having a blurry vision, being unwilling to take responsibility, that's a big one. Being physically and mentally drained. So maybe some of the surrounding situations that you have in your life are really draining you mentally and physically, and that makes you feel bogged down, and so you feel stuck. A lack of focus, a lack of self-belief, and the last one is a lack of inspiration. So maybe some of those might relate to you. Comment below if you have ever felt like that. But these are my top tips on how to get unstuck. So here we go. Number one is acknowledging what needs to change. So this is really just assessing the situation, and something that I have found helpful in the past is that we always give great advice to other people. So I like to pretend that my situation actually isn't happening to me, it's happening to a friend of mine, and they have come to me for some advice. And 9 times out of 10, you're like, yeah, I give great advice to everybody else, but we don't tend to take it on for ourselves. So I like to pretend that it's for somebody else and go, okay, well, what would I say or what would I suggest? And am I actually doing that to be able to acknowledge what needs to change? So some questions that you might want to ask yourself is, what's causing me to feel stuck? What roadblocks do I keep hitting? What excuses am I making for myself? That is a big one because we can find an excuse for just about anything. What patterns am I seeing? So say for instance, you keep hitting a roadblock. Do you just give up? Do you retreat? Do you get angry? Do you get upset? What patterns can you see emerge in the problem? And what do I expect should happen? So do we have maybe some unrealistic expectations on what we think should happen in a certain situation? So that first one is acknowledging what needs to change, really surveying the issue. Number 2 is gaining needed clarity. So this really relates to number 1, but the second step is to gain some clarity about the circumstances and behaviors that you're potentially indulging in. So some questions that you can ask yourself is, what specifically am I doing to help me towards that goal? Who am I doing it for? So a lot of the time we might be doing something a lot for other people and giving and giving and giving and giving, that we actually forget about our own goals and dreams. So asking yourself, who am I actually doing this for? Am I doing this for me, or am I doing it for somebody else? And also, why am I doing this? Okay. So it's time to figure out now what you would prefer to do instead. So some questions that you might want to ask yourself is, what would I prefer to do instead? What are my goals? What are my aspirations? What do I actually really want? And am I working in accordance to those goals? And here's a couple more questions that you might want to ask yourself. What's been holding me back all this time? What is the roadblocks that I just keep hitting time and time again? What are the reasons that I'm feeling stuck? Do I have some fears that have held me back? What are my habits? What do I tend to do on a day-to-day basis? What unproductive habits do I indulge in? So a lot of the time, I feel like going towards your goals isn't about huge, big chunks of time. It's about using the little nooks and crannies of your day to help you achieve your goals. So say, for instance, you had a health and fitness goal and you watch TV for an hour and a half at nighttime. Do you think that you could spend 30 minutes out of that hour and a half? So you still are having that relaxing time, that wind down time, but maybe you could spend half an hour of that going for a long walk. And that is the daily disciplines that can help you towards your goals. How are these habits hurting me? So how are the habits that we're getting ourselves into hurting the situation or making yourself more foggy towards your goals? And what new habits could I develop that would help support my goals? So we spoke about that yesterday, the habits, so replacing a bad habit with a good one. All right, step number 3 is reevaluating what's most important. So going back to our overall goal and our purpose, what is my goal? Is that goal right for me? A lot of the times we might take on other people's goals and pretend like they're ours and then realize down the track that it's not actually what we want. Is it right for me at this very moment? Does it need to be modified in any way? What do I value most in life? Why is that important to me? And then it's also the last thing here is about your social circle. So we touched on this a little bit yesterday. So who within your immediate social group that you hang out with, who's weighing me down, who's holding you back? And sometimes we need to adjust how much time we're spending with them. All right. Last one, step number 4, creating a plan of action. So once you've overcome the first 3 steps, number 4 is about really creating that action plan and that go time plan. So before you lay down a plan for getting unstuck, take time to do the following. Create a list of activities that you're passionate about. Create a list of activities that support your core values and create a list of ways to get unstuck. So we're really just diving in on what the problem is and then coming up with a solution and a plan to do one step at a time. And just with creating a plan, start small. Do a little bit every day until that becomes comfortable for you. Then step it up the next week and do a little bit more until that becomes comfortable for you, and so on and so forth. So I hope that helps you guys a little bit. Comment below if you have ever felt stuck, what you have done to feel unstuck, because it might help somebody else. So I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.